nobody really than Gorilla. Ain't nobody really than Gorilla. I said, ain't nobody really than Gorilla. Ain't nobody really than Gorilla. Gorilla tactics.
What's going on, folks? It's Steven here with the Attitude Podcast, and I've got a double review for you here. Yes, I meant that, double review. Smackdown and 205 Live review. Almost felt like it was two completely different shows. But guess what? 205 Live once again delivers. I feel so bad that I haven't watched 205 Live in weeks. But I figure, now with me doing the podcast and reviewing all these shows, I gotta start back watching NXT UK, NXT on a regular basis, and 205 Live. I gotta get all this wrestling into my blood. God, it was just such a contrast of styles tonight. One thing that I'm gonna say, and I thought about making this the title of my video, but the title of my video is going to be about 205 Live because that was a bear show tonight. Get rid of the wild card rule. It makes zero sense. I'm pretty sure the talent don't even understand the wild card rule. I'm pretty sure Vince doesn't even know what he's doing with the wild card rule at this point. There's got to be something that has to be done because it makes zero sense to me. It makes zero sense to even the casual fan. It's like, oh, SmackDown Live feels like pre-2016 brand split SmackDown, where it's just a big Raw recap, a bunch of matches that meant nothing and nobody even talked about the next week. That's exactly what it feels like. It means nothing. Nothing ever happens. And honestly, I miss the brand split pay-per-views. When that went away, that was my first gripe with it. But I was like, okay, we can have the together pay-per-views, just do not put the brands together. And now with this damn wild card rule, we're almost back to where we were 3 years ago. At least the previous brand split, that lasted like what? 8 years? About 9 years. It was about 9 years from like 2002 to 2011. That was definitely 9 years. God. Alright, guys. Alright. So I have a SmackDown and 205 Live review to bring to you guys, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So we kick things off with The Miz from Monday Night Raw. I promise you, this show was about a 3-feud show. You will know exactly what. Well, I did not mean to hit the mic. You will know exactly what I'm talking about, guys. Miz TV kicks off the show. Why? He's a Monday Night Raw star. I hate this wild card rule, but he says he's being forced to hold Miz TV on SmackDown Live tonight for Shane McMahon. He said Shane has provided him with a script that he must follow. Miz, of course, messes around with the script, calling Shane the breast of the world and the pest of the world. Not funny at all, but the crowd was eating it up. Good job, Sacramento, for at least giving the man a chance. Next comes out Shane, Elias, and Drew McIntyre. Obviously, Drew McIntyre is a wild card. Can't forget about that, because, of course, commentary is definitely not going to let you forget about that. As we get highlights from Super Showdown 2. Yes, 2. Shane has Greg Hamilton properly introduce him. He's come a long way from beating him up every week. And Elias, Shane says Elias is a special musical guest, as all big talk shows have them. Elias plays a tune on the guitar. Shane says he beat Reigns just like he said he would because he's the best in the world. Miz claims Shane's accomplishments are all tainted and that he and Reigns destroyed him. Shane says he sees it differently. Miz shows footage of Reigns commenting on the Super Showdown loss, where he said that Shane beat him because someone gave it to him, and that he'll beat Drew at Stomping Grounds. Drew McIntyre then talks. He says that Reigns lets his emotions get the best of him, but that he enjoys hurting people. In 2 weeks, he will kick Reigns' head off. Miz says Drew's potential is being ruined by being Shane's lackey. They like to use that word a lot in WWE, lackey. Shane says that Miz resents him because Shane has his number, just like he does with Reigns. Miz calls him a talentless hack. So Shane offers him another shot at the best in the world, on one condition, that he has to beat Elias and Drew in separate matches, and then he gets his rematch. So, naturally, the first 30 minutes of Smackdown Live, well, almost 45, were tainted by Shane McMahon. We get The Miz versus Elias, which was nothing, but I'll go into detail with the match. The match starts with Elias in control and covering for 2. Elias then grounds the action, but Miz battles back with a jawbreaker and strikes. He follows with kicks and the double knees. Elias cuts him off with a knee strike and covers for 2. Miz counters the drift away finisher, but Elias scores with a sit-out powerbomb for 2. Elias heads up top and misses the elbow drop, skull-crushing finale, and Elias is done. So now all The Miz has to do is defeat Drew McIntyre. McIntyre slides in immediately, hitting a suplex and grounding the action. He follows with chops and a short arm clothesline before grounding things again. McIntyre takes him up top and Miz fires back, but he goes into a chop and McIntyre's covered for 2. McIntyre follows with more chops, but Miz fires back and then posts McIntyre. Miz attacks on the floor, rolls McIntyre back in, and then badly slips on the springboard attempt. He recovers and hits his signature DDT. Shane distracts Miz, headbutt by McIntyre, and the Claymore finishes Miz. Shane McMahon then comes in. He offers Miz his match and attacks him immediately. Works him over a little bit and locks on that horrible looking triangle choke submission, and the Miz taps out. Shane celebrates, and we get more of this, almost said the S word, stuff every week. My gripe with this stuff, like, God, get Shane off of the TV. Stop coming back to the McMahons to rely on ratings. Ratings will come when you bring good action. It's been proven. God, okay. Guys, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Monday Night Raw was the better show between SmackDown and Raw this week. That's how. Whatever. Sonya and Mandy backstage. They're bullying Ember Moon. I have no idea why, but made no sense. Daniel Bryan comes back. You know what's weird about this week? I guess Vince just realized that he has tag team champions because neither of them have been on the show for the past couple weeks, and then all of a sudden, after the Saudi Showdown, they're back. Daniel Bryan says we're in for a treat tonight as the Planet's tag team champions are defending against the YOLO Country tag team champions, local jobbers. My gripe with this is that they use the same exact thing for the Iconics this week on Monday Night Raw. Jobbers. And Heavy Machinery arrive and say that the champions are ducking them. They say they would be the champions if they got a shot. And Daniel Bryan makes a point. What have they done to earn a shot? Wow, that actually kind of made sense. Then we get Heavy Machinery versus the Jobbers. You guys know where this is going. Tucker runs wild at the bell, tags in Otis. He follows with the Caterpillar. The Compactor finishes it, and that is it. I'm guessing they're going to be facing Bryan and Rowan at, what is it, Stomping Grounds? Stupid name for pay-per-view. But yeah, backstage, something I actually like, and something that they can't F up because they're just dumb like that. Truth talks with Carmella about his 24/7 championship run. Calls the 7-Eleven championship. It's pretty funny. He says, which is ruining his life, but he can't let it go. He hears a talent coming, and he hides in one of the boxes, like where the production stuff goes, and he ends up locked in a box as Carmella has to go to find has to go have a match against Sonya Deville. Jinder Mahal finds him and hears him and goes to get a crowbar and a referee. Then we got Carmella versus Sonya Deville, which I guess I didn't watch SmackDown Live last week, but I guess Carmella was involved in that triple threat match that decided the number one contender for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. And Sonya was in that, I guess. Mandy is out with Sonya. Carmella attacks at the bell looking for revenge from last week. Sonya cuts her off with knee strikes and covers for 2. Sonya grounds the action and follows with a sliding knee strike for 2. Carmella fires back, but Sonya follows with a kick. But Carmella gets the code of silence, but Mandy puts Sonya's foot on the ropes. Mandy Rose is actually a pretty good talent. Carmella cases and dumps Sonya and follows with a suicide dive. Back in, and Mandy looks to attack, eats a super kick, but Sonya hits the knee strike for the victory. I'm all for this if this means this is Sonya Deville getting a little bit of a push. She's a good talent, and I would love to see her in the rotation. Backstage, every week we get these damn backstage segments with Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. Every week, both shows! It's a Raw recap! God! Alexa Bliss drinks coffee and meets with Nikki Cross. Bliss says there has been a negative reaction to Nikki on social media following Raw, including from Bayley. Bliss got Nikki a match with Bayley tonight so that she can get payback. New Day is out, and my first thought was, okay, they're going to have a match right now? No, instead of throwing a match like, hell, you could have had Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy. You could have had your Intercontinental Champion that's only been on TV like twice since the Superstar Shakeup have a match or even a segment. No, the New Day came out to have a promo. Again, no sense whatsoever. Big E is back and looks to be happy. He's dancing. Love to see Big E back. He's a great guy. Woods welcomes everyone to the celebration. The fact that Big E is back. Big E says, your boy is back. And if he had a title run for every return, he'd be Charlotte. Ha, I got that one. They have a match tonight and will end it quickly so that Woods can get back to E3. They hyped tonight's main event, noting that Kofi beat Sami, Kevin, and Dolph already. At Stomping Grounds, he will beat Dolph again. I really don't want to see this match again, but if this is the last match, then by all means, let it be the last match. God, but Dolph arrives, and he's gonna cut this typical promo. It should have been me. Sounds just like Vince. Jesus Christ. And Dolph says that Kofi betrayed him and the fans and is only champion because Xavier Woods helped him beat him. Dolph says that it should have been him, but at Stomping Grounds there will be no help and nowhere to hide or save him, and that it will be Dolph. Kofi says that Dolph attacked Woods, leading to his retaliation. Sami and Kevin Owens arrive now because every promo segment needs 5 to 10 people. Sami runs down Kofi for his actions, but when Kofi and Woods cheat, these disgusting fans don't care about justice. He and Kevin enjoy beating up the New Day. And Big E says they enjoyed Rollins wearing out Sami's ass with a chair. Sami says there should have been suspensions as he was a referee. Dolph says Kofi is the biggest hypocrite of them all. Big E says that Kofi's run isn't about them, it's about Kofi's passion to be the best. Kofi promises to remain WWE champion at Stomping Grounds. This is going to be pretty effing funny to see when Brock cashes in on Kofi. That's going to be pretty funny. Bayley's backstage and is asked by Charlie Caruso about Bliss's comments from earlier. Bayley says she will defeat Nikki Cross tonight and move on to be Bliss at Stomping Grounds. Aleister Black cuts a promo backstage, noting that he still has no challengers. He asks the cameraman to open the door and yells about having no one to fight. Well, you know what, Aleister? It's not you don't have anybody to fight. It's just that creative doesn't have shit for you right now, and they're embroiling everything into a Shane McMahon storyline, and that, welp, you won't have anything to do till maybe after Stomping Grounds. You maybe get a Randy Orton match or a Buddy Murphy match that I'm really hoping to see. Next up, Bayley versus Nikki Cross. Bliss is at ringside. They lock up and work to the ropes. Nikki tackles Bayley, but Bayley then sends her to the floor. She follows and hits a dropkick back in, and Bayley covers for 2. Nikki then traps Bayley in the ring skirt and beats her down. Back in, and then a reverse DDT by Nikki follows for a 2 count. Nikki follows with headbutts, and then a dropkick and covers for 2. The Japanese necktie follows, grounding Bayley. Nikki then hits a neckbreaker for 2. She grounds things again and then puts Bayley in the Tree of Woe and follows with kicks. Bayley fights back and hits the stunner and the ropes. She follows with a knee strike and the Rolling Thunder for 2. Nikki fights off the Bayley to belly, but Bayley hits a German suplex. Bliss distracts her. Nikki cradles her for a 2 count. Bayley cuts her off, heads up top, and wins with a top rope elbow drop and connects for the win. Glad you didn't have your champion lose again, because that's how you've been booking stuff. But nothing much to say except for if this was NXT, that match would have been a lot better, a lot less overbooked. Jinder backstage is still searching for truth, but the box that he was in has been loaded onto a truck for Raw, and Carmella now searches for him, but he's gone. We get a replay from the Firefly Funhouse from last night. Backstage, Caleb Braxton talks with Apollo Crews. Crews talks about Andrade's attack on him last week. When he gets a chance, he'll get revenge. Vega arrives and says that Andrade is still upset and will make sure Crews doesn't have a match again. Chad Gable arrives and stands there writing stuff off. I didn't care for this, but hey, Chad Gable stole the show. As you can see from my thumbnail, I was impressed. So, yeah. Main event, Dolph Ziggler, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn versus New Day. Seems like a pre-brand split SmackDown main event. Dolph and Woods begin locking up, and Dolph escaping to the ropes. Dolph now grounds things, follows with rights, and tags in Sami. He grounds Woods, maintaining control until Woods cuts him off. Takes him to the corner, and the Unicorn Stampede follows as Kofi covers for 2. Kofi gets cut off and sent to the floor where Dolph attacks. Back in, and Dolph grounds things. Kofi tries to fire back but runs into a drop kick. He gets dumped and Kofi hits a senton on the floor. We go to a commercial break, and post break, Dolph is in control on Kofi. Kevin Owens tags in and follows with strikes until Kofi hits a desperation drop kick. Tag to Woods, and he runs wild on Sami. He follows with the dropkick to Dolph and Sami on the floor. Back in, and Kevin takes the ref as Dolph crotches Woods up top. Kevin tags in, hits a dropkick, and tags in Dolph. Dolph takes control, grounding things, but Woods fights to his feet. But Dolph cuts off the tag. Sami tags in and lays the boots to Woods. He grounds things. Woods again fights to his feet, but Sami cuts him off with rights. Kevin Owens tags in. He lays the boots to Woods and then follows with the second rope moonsault for 2. Woods with a desperation DDT and gets the hot tag to Big E, and the crowd went crazy for this. Big E runs wild with the suplexes, dances, and follows with the running splash on Dolph. He goes for the suicide spear, but Dolph cuts it off. But Big E cuts him off, tags in Kofi, but Sami makes the save, and Dolph then accidentally superkicks Sami. Kofi hits Trouble in Paradise on Dolph and Sami and pins Sami for the win. They were going to have New Day lose their return match. It was what it was. I wanted to just get past this. 5 out of 10 tonight for SmackDown Live. Finally, we were at 205 Live. Opened up with the general manager Drake Maverick making comments on his 24/7 championship pursuit. He says that he has been distracted, but he will get back to business. He will name Tony Nese's next challenger as 4 men compete in a fatal 4-way: Akira Tozawa versus Humberto Carrillo versus Drew Gulak versus Oni Lorcan, with the winner getting a title shot at Stomping Grounds. Love that idea. It was a great match tonight. Chad Gable came out to face Jack Kelleher, which was crazy, and the crowd at first was like, what the hell? It was just like, I didn't know what it was, but I didn't know what it was, but the crowd knew what it was, but eventually the crowd was cheering for this guy. It was a very technical wrestling match. They shake hands and lock up, working into counters, and Kelleher takes control. He starts working the leg, but Gable rolls out. They work into more counters with Gable taking Kelleher down. Gable takes Kelleher down, working to the pin attempts and into the double bridge spot. Gable follows with an arm drag. They lock up, and Gable takes him down, and then takes him to the corner, but Kelleher counters with a drop kick. Kelleher follows him to the floor and slams him into the steps. Back in, and Kelleher lays the boots to him. He follows with uppercuts and then grounds things as he works the arm. He follows with more uppercuts, but Gable gets the backslide for 2. Kelleher follows with the delayed suplex and covers for 2. Kelleher keeps things grounded and then whips Gable into the buckle a few times. Kelleher follows with knee drops as he works the lower back. Gable starts to battle back, hits a belly to belly, and rolls into another and then into a dragon suplex for 2. Nasty spot. The ankle lock follows. Kelleher fights and rolls into an armbar. Gable powers out, hits the tiger driver for 2. Kelleher counters the ankle lock, stuns him off the ropes, and follows with lariat that flipped Chad Gable. Kelleher misses a dropkick, then goes for a suicide dive, but Gable catches him, hits a flip over German suplex on the floor. Then Gable rolls back into the ring. Kelleher can't make the 10 count, and Chad Gable wins by count out. It's definitely not the end of this feud, but that was a great way to introduce Chad Gable. I guess he'll be using the ankle lock as his finisher. I love it. I love it. I love it. Great stuff here. Let me just get a little swig of water. But yeah, back into it. Backstage, Mike and Maria complain about being left out of tonight's number 1 contenders match, and also because he didn't get to face Chad Gable. Drake Maverick calls him a whiny bee, as Maria tells Drake Maverick to start doing his job. We get comments from Noam Dar. He says that with Drew Gulak attacking him last week, he won't be back to 205 Live for a while, knowing that this wouldn't have happened in NXT UK. We got the Singh Bros, and basically an enhancement match to prepare them for their match against Lucha House Party next week. The Singhs versus Dos Locales, I believe they were called. The Singhs get control early on. Damn. Working over Locale number 1, they dance. Locale hits a dropkick and a cradle for 2. Locale 2 is in and dumped. The Singhs follow with double teams on Locale number 1. Then take out Locale number 2, and the Bollywood Blast wins the match. Nothing special, but it makes sense. Enhanced stuff for next week. Tony Nese is backstage. He comments on tonight's number 1 contenders match. Nese still wants to test himself against Tozawa, but will gladly take on any challenger to prove himself. He's sick and tired of waiting to defend his title. The main event, which had the crowd going crazy. Akira Tozawa versus Humberto Carrillo versus Drew Gulak versus Oney Lorcan. Man, what a match. They brawl at the bell with Tozawa tossed to the floor. Carrillo now starts to run wild and hits a standing moonsault for 2. Lorcan cuts him off, but Tozawa attacks him, hits a toss-up flapjack, and then hits one on Carrillo. He follows with jabs on Gulak and then slams him down, and the sliding kick follows for 2. Lorcan battles back, laying in chops on Tozawa, and Carrillo takes out Gulak and then uppercuts Carrillo out of the air. Lorcan and Gulak now double team Tozawa and then they trade chops. Carrillo is back, lays in kicks, and Gulak cuts him off with the lariat covering for 2. He follows with the German suplex and that gets 2. The suplex on Carrillo also follows for 2. Gulak now stomps on Carrillo's face and drop kicks Lorcan to the floor. Carrillo and Tozawa back, cutting off Gulak and then dump Lorcan onto Gulak. Tozawa and Carrillo both go for pins, and then they brawl, and then the double super kick Gulak and Tozawa super kicks Carrillo. There's a lot of action here. Lorcan cuts off Tozawa and hits a half and half, but Tozawa flies in with the senton to break up the pin. They all battle on the apron. Lorcan to the floor, missile dropkick by Carrillo, and then multiple dives follow as the crowd gets really into this. Tozawa and Carrillo back in, and Carrillo follows with an enziguri and covers for 2. Lorcan back in and hits the double blockbuster, and he and Gulak go face to face. As they brawl, trading strikes and chops. Lorcan then follows with the dive on the Tozawa and Carrillo. Daivari attacks Lorcan, laying him out with a chair shot. Obviously in retaliation from last week, I guess. Carrillo dumps Gulak, but Tozawa cuts him off and they battle up top. Gulak shoves Carrillo to the floor, and then he and Tozawa trade strikes. Gulak hits the top rope superplex. Both men go for the pin. Gulak and Tozawa's shoulders are pinned to the mat as the ref counts to 3. Double pin. So my guess here is that next week on 205 Live, the main event will be Drew Gulak versus Akira Tozawa to see who will face Tony Nese at Stomping Grounds, and my guess would be it's Drew Gulak, and I believe Drew Gulak should be the new Cruiserweight champion. What a show. A big change from what we saw 30 minutes earlier than that on Smackdown Live. Well, folks, obviously I was a little late with this 205 Smackdown Live review. I got to get ready to go watch some NXT UK. Can't wait to see that, some more good action. Alright, folks, this has been Steven here with the Attitude Podcast. If you like this, guys, like. If you have anything to say, leave a comment. And, of course, hit that subscribe button. I'm out. Peace.